All right. So this video is going to be about me responding, or I guess reacting, or something similar to this, responding or reacting to this video. This video is Islam false. Watch this by Cross Examined. I'm gonna be responding to that video or reacting to it or whatever in a quick moment. But first of all, okay, what's that in your nose? What's that stuff in your nose? Basically, like a couple days ago, I just got the flu and I was sick and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. And that's the reason I have this stuff in my nose. It's actually that is toothpaste, and I put it in and around my nose just to kind of help to treat the flu and stuff. It actually sort of does work. So that's kind of like a little tip. If you get sick and you might have the flu or whatever, just put some toothpaste around your nose. Actually, it seems kind of stupid, but for me at least, it provided such a massive relief to help me kind of recover from this flu issue, this flu virus problem, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, that's a side tangent. That's kind of not really important and relevant, because this video is going to be about me responding or reacting or something similar to this video. Is Islam false? Watch this by Cross Examined. Now, straight off the bat, or right off the bat, I don't know how to say that properly. You look at the thumbnail, very provocative. Obviously, that I know it's not explicitly stated that is a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, but it sort of is implied. It's like very derogatory and stuff, and it's very inflammatory. It's very provocative, right off the bat, or straight off the bat, or whatever. You can tell that this person, or the people that are responsible for this YouTube channel, Cross Examined, they're very inflammatory. They're not like they're not polite in any way. You can see, because like, look at this. Obviously, it's not explicitly stated that that's the Prophet Muhammad, but it's kind of implied and stuff. It's like a very derogatory image of a brown Muslim man who looks ignorant and stuff. A very stereotypical image of a brown Muslim man who's very ignorant and stupid and stuff, and primitive and stuff, and he has his finger up, and he doesn't know any better and stuff. He's looking lost, and is Islam false? Watch this. Look at that very provocative. I know it doesn't say that. Oh, that's the Prophet Muhammad. To me, it feels like that is somewhat implied to be the Prophet Muhammad. You know, you could tell that this video is going to be it's not going to be very polite. It's not going to be a very academic video. You can tell, you can tell like what this video is going to be about, like the nature of this video. You can tell just by looking at the thumbnail. It's not going to be a very academic video. It's going anyway. Might need to, because stupid ads, man. You know when you're on YouTube, whatever, ads. Anyway, might need to deal with an ad. Yeah, I'm gonna have. Don't want to get any copyright problems. Shoot.
Not write the Quran.
Oh, here we are.
Muhammad did not write the Quran.
Here we are.
It was gathered after.
Here we are. Damn, sorry. Should be a little bit more faster. Ooh, damn. Here we go. We're gonna get into this now. Is Islam false? Watch this by Cross Examined. Look at the views on this video. 896K. Damn.
Now keep in mind, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was gathered after he died, and it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650 AD.
The video is still kind of blurry. 720p. Come on, that's the highest quality. Let me try that again. Let's see if maybe slow the video down a bit more. I don't want to deal with copyright problems, so I'm just gonna put it at 120, 125.
Now keep in mind, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was gathered after he died, and it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650 AD.
Okay, let's quickly address that. Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was put together after he died by some caliph, blah blah blah. Okay, so all of this is kind of hard for me to like properly address. It's hard because if we want to be super accurate and get all the details right, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? How is anyone supposed to know like if Muhammad actually like if we're gonna be like very like accurate and super accurate, and we're gonna be we're gonna be very philosophical. Did Muhammad actually write the Quran? If we're gonna be very philosophical like this, it's impossible to know if Muhammad actually wrote the Quran. If we're gonna be very philosophical and stuff, I don't know. Because like I mean, how is anyone supposed to know if Muhammad actually wrote the Quran? It's not like there's a time machine and you can go back in time and you can look at Muhammad writing the Quran with his hands. This is kind of these types of statements like Muhammad didn't write the Quran, or these types of statements or questions like did Muhammad actually write the Quran? It's kind of these types of questions and statements and whatever are kind of stupid because they're impossible. Like the nature of these types of questions and statements and blah 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 are impossible to know about properly. Because I mean, like, if we're gonna be very philosophical and I don't know if we're gonna be super accurate and get all the facts right and get all the details right, did Muhammad actually write the Quran himself, or did someone help him, or blah blah blah? Who knows? That, I know a lot of Muslims are going to get kind of pissed off and angry at me. What are you saying? Obviously, Muhammad did write the Quran. But to be honest, if we're going to be very honest and stuff like that, I mean, we don't like nobody knows if Muhammad actually wrote the Quran. If we're going to be very, this is kind of sort of philosophical and kind of vague and stupid. I don't know. But if you like, I'm talking about if we want to like be very certain, like if we want to know with full certainty, it's like the issue is that we will never know with full certainty if Muhammad wrote the Quran. This is just like with any type of historical event or historical person or character or blah blah blah. If we're dealing with like history that's very deep in our past, it's like impossible to get all the details and facts right. Because I mean, all we have to go off of our pieces of information that came like a little bit later on. It's kind of impossible to get all the details and facts right and straight and blah blah blah, to get all the details right and the facts straight and right and blah blah blah. Because anything that's too deep in our history is kind of, it's impossible. Like, it's not like we can cross-reference and check everything properly. It's not like we can cross-reference and check everything properly, or we can actually go back in time and see everything ourselves, get like 4K footage of like Muhammad's life. It's like impossible to know. So these types of questions and statements. Did Muhammad actually write the Quran, or was it made up later on after him by someone else, or something similar to this? I don't know. I can't address that properly because I don't know. None of us know. Like I don't know. I know, the gospel offers, because this Christian guy, he's saying, oh, we don't know if Muhammad probably didn't write the Quran. It was made up by someone else after he died and stuff. You know what the gospel offers, in terms of the Bible and stuff like that. The Bible, we don't know who wrote the Old Testament, blah blah blah, and we don't know who wrote the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These are just pen names. There's no biographies attached to these names. There's no historical evidence that suggests that these people, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, existed. Blah blah blah. So this type of argument, oh, Muhammad didn't write the Quran. It was made up by someone else. I don't know. That type of argument's kind of, it's impossible to address that type of argument because it's impossible to know. Like, we're going to be very philosophical, and if we want to talk with full certainty and full confidence, oh, did Muhammad actually write the Quran? It's impossible to know, because it's not like we can get into a time machine and go back in time and look at what Muhammad was doing and get like 4K footage of the guy's life. I mean, it is all like, when we're dealing with anything that's too deep in our history, it's all speculation and stuff. So I cannot possibly know like the true answer to that, like that type of question and statement. Did Muhammad actually write the Quran, or was it made up by someone else later after him? I don't know. It's impossible to know. But this Christian, he's trying to use this to kind of invalidate Islam, this type of argument to invalidate Islam. It also kind of sort of does apply to Christianity, because the gospel offers, we don't know who wrote the Bible. At least we know the Quran. The Quran, it does go. I mean, there has to be a guy called Muhammad, and it does this book called the Quran had to kind of go back and relate to him in some way. That we can say that with some certainty. But the Bible, the Gospel, we don't know who wrote the Gospels. We don't know who wrote the Old Testament. The Bible, what does the Bible go back to? Who does the Bible go back to? The biblical prophets. That's stupid. I don't know. Does it say in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that the biblical prophets wrote those books and blah blah blah? I don't know. Does it say that? No, I don't know. The Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, these people aren't Jesus. These people are other people that are not Jesus. Jesus did not, which is kind of dumb to me. Jesus didn't even write the Gospels. We're relying on secondhand accounts of his life. It's so stupid. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, these are pen names. No biographies attached. At least, the Quran. Like, okay, who knows? I mean, maybe Muhammad did not actually write the Quran. Maybe someone else made it up after him. Fair enough. I don't know about that. But at least we know with some certainty that the Quran, it does go back to some person maybe called Muhammad. And the Quran relates to this person that probably existed called Muhammad. But with, you know, probably, or maybe, I don't know, obviously, if you'll be very artistic and philosophical, maybe Muhammad did not exist. Maybe he was just like a mythical character that was made up by the medieval Arabs and whatever and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be that artistic and philosophical. I don't know, because then it's all speculation. If you want to be that philosophical and artistic, then we'll never know anything about our history. It's just stupid. Anyway, but you know, okay. But at least with some certainty, we know that the Quran does go back to some person that might have been called Muhammad. It probably was called Muhammad. It goes back to this guy. The Quran goes back to some guy called the Prophet Muhammad. At least it relates to him in some way. But the Gospels and the Bible, all up in the air. Nobody knows who wrote the Old Testament. Nobody knows who wrote the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Nobody. These are pen names. There's no biographies attached to these names. There's no historical evidence to suggest that these people were actually real people. And you know, like the Gospels, like our oldest manuscripts of the Gospels, they come like a couple centuries after the time of Jesus. If you believe, like, you know, because a lot of biblical scholars kind of say that Jesus was born around 6 BC or something similar. I don't know. I can't be too confident because, you know, let me kind of just show you quickly here. Oldest manuscripts of the Gospels. The earliest manuscript of a New Testament text is a business card sized fragment from the Gospel of John, Library Papyrus P52, which may be as early as the first half of the 2nd century. Okay, 2nd century, probably AD. Now let's look at like when Jesus was born. When was Jesus born? The date of birth of Jesus is not stated in the Gospels or in any historical sources, but most biblical scholars generally accept the date of birth between 6 BC and 4 BC, the year in which King Herod died. So, you know, we don't even know when Jesus was born. But, you know, we know that the Gospels, the oldest manuscripts of the Gospels come in at least the 2nd century AD, and Jesus was born in somewhere, at least like a lot of biblical scholars, maybe, I don't know, they say, because it says here, most biblical scholars generally accept the date of birth between 6 BC and 4 BC. You know, like, we don't even know when Jesus was born. This is all speculation. It's kind of stupid, but anyway, a lot of biblical scholars say he was born in the BC time period. But the manuscripts of the Gospels, the oldest ones, come in the 2nd century BC, AD time period, not BC, AD. So this type of argument, right? Oh, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was made up by someone else after him. We'll never know. Like, this is all just speculation, but you know, the Bible, this type of argument kind of invalidates Christianity in the Bible, because we don't know who wrote the Bible. The Gospel authors, we don't know if they were real people, because these are just sort of pen names. There was no biographies attached to these names. And the oldest Gospels only come around to the 2nd century AD. We don't have any versions of the Gospels that go exactly to the life and time of Jesus. We don't even know when Jesus was born. The Gospels don't even talk about the actual date and birth of Jesus. So this type of argument it also goes against Christianity as well, because we don't know who wrote the Bible. The Bible was made up by people that weren't Jesus. The Gospel authors were not Jesus. So this is so stupid. This type of argument is so dumb. But anyway, I was kind of blabbering on a lot, blabbering and saying too much words. Let's get, I actually want to respond to the rest of the video. Let's get on to it. Is Islam false? Watch this.
Can you elaborate? I brought several RTs from our church,
okay,
and I wanted them to see. Can you go over the differences between Christianity versus the other world religions such as Islam, Catholicism, Mormonism?
You mean in 2 minutes?
Yes.
That's like those are semester courses.
We'll try to.
He's like some kind of radio guy behind the glass going, shorten it up, shorten it up. All right, why don't we just deal with Islam first, okay? Look, there are 3 great monotheistic religions.
His name is Dr. Frank Turek, crossexamine.org. If you want to do research on that guy, I don't know.
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, okay? In my view, Christianity just completes Judaism. I think the
Oops, let's sort of address that. No, but Christianity does not complete Judaism. a lot of Orthodox Jews will tell you that Jesus is not their Lord and Savior. This sort of already proves that this guy is not intellectually honest. He's very biased and ignorant, like most Christians. Christianity does not complete Judaism. Judaism and Christianity and Judaism, Christianity to Judaism, Christianity, Judaism are at odds with each other. A lot of Orthodox Jews will tell you that they don't accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Judaism does not go hand in hand with Christianity. Christianity does not go hand in hand with Judaism. So stupid. Go to like any type of Orthodox Jew or rabbi or whatever. Go to them and say, try and make them say Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I don't know. Maybe try and as like an interesting experiment. Or like, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Get any Orthodox Jew to say this. It's ridiculous. Christianity does not complete Judaism. Christianity and Judaism are at odds with each other. A lot of Jews, at least I don't know, because I know a lot of Jews. Like, how would you define like what a Jew, like what a Jewish person is? What makes a person Jewish and a Jew? That's kind of dumb. I don't know, but any because what does it mean to be Jewish? I know it's like some sort of like an ethnicity as well. I don't know, but because this is tricky because Orthodox Jews, but a lot of modern, like in my opinion, I believe like a lot of Jews, like at least a lot of ethnic Jews, I don't know, are more secular and atheistic. So I don't know, but if you find like very rare, like the rare Orthodox super religious Jews, they'll tell you that that Jesus Christ is not my Lord and Savior. This Christian guy is being very ignorant and stupid, and he's just chatting nonsense. He's just chatting rubbish. Horrible guy, man. Horrible. He's not intellectually honest. He's very ignorant and stupid. Let's continue with this video. Damn, man. Sorry for the little delay.
Old Testament is true, right, and I think the New Testament is true as well, so it completes Judaism. Islam comes along.
No. Christianity does not complete Judaism. A lot of Orthodox Jews, the religious Jews, the real religious Jews, I don't know, because I know a lot of modern ethnic Jews, because to be Jewish to be a Jew is like, it's an ethnicity and it's like a religious thing. I don't know how you can separate that. I don't know how you can define that properly, but I know a lot of ethnic, like at least a lot of like Orthodox Jews and religious Jews, blah blah blah. They'll tell you that Jesus Christ is not their Lord and Savior, and they'll tell you that the New Testament is sort of just nonsense. But I don't know. Let's just let this ignorant dorky looking kind of ignorant dorky looking old. I don't know if he's that old, but he's very dorky. He's like a dorky looking Christian preacher guy. Very stereotypical, like the stereotypical ignorant like Christian from maybe Texas or somewhere else in America, because you can tell he's American by his accent, obviously. Look at this dorky guy, man. He's so ignorant and stupid. Christianity completes Judaism. Go to any Orthodox Jew, right? They'll tell you that Jesus Christ is not their Lord and Savior. It's not my Lord and Savior at all. A lot of Orthodox Jews, the rare religious Jews, I know a lot of modern ethnic Jews, because I know to be Jewish is religious and it's like ethnic and it's like a sort of ethnicity. But I know, and obviously a lot of Jews, ethnic Jews, are sort of atheistic and secular. But if you go to like the very rare, I guess now, religious Orthodox Jews, they'll tell you that Jesus Christ is not their Lord and Savior. A lot of them will tell you that the New Testament is sort of just nonsense. But let's just let this ignorant, dorky Christian guy continue, bro. Damn, freaking so.
First of all, Muhammad is born in 570 AD.
Yup.
610 AD, he seems to think he gets a revelation from God. To say that there's only one God. And he goes to Mecca in 622, and he tries to say, in a town that had a lot of idols, because people would go to Mecca and worship these deities, he tried to go in there and say, look, there's just one God. Allah is his name. And that's so they threw him out. He goes up to Medina, he begins to raid Meccan caravans, and in 630
I don't know about
he's
that.
by force, but he doesn't have much resistance. He dies 2 years later, probably poisoned by somebody in 632. By 638, his followers have already taken over the Holy Land, and by 732, they've streamed across northern Africa, across the Straits of Gibraltar, into Spain, and were stopped in Tours, France by Charles Martel. Charles the Hammer, that's what his name means, Martel. And
I don't know about that.
them back, and eventually the Muslims retreated back over the Straits of Gibraltar, and to this day, northern Africa is largely, predominantly Muslim.
I don't know about that. Maybe true. I don't know.
never claimed to do miracles. In fact, in the Quran, he says, I'm just a plain warner, I don't do miracles.
I don't know about that.
Miracles are attributed to Muhammad about 150 years later in what's called the Hadith, the written traditions of what Muhammad.
I'm not too sure about that.
These people were not eyewitnesses. As I say, it's about 150.
The gospel authors were not eyewitnesses, you know that.
Appear to be modifications of.
There's no proof that the gospel authors were even real people.
Jesus feeds 5,000, Muhammad feeds, I don't know, 10 or 50,000, something like that, right? They appear to be kind of borrowed from Christianity. And even
I don't believe so, I don't know, but I'm not too sure about that.
So, I don't think there's any supernatural confirmation that Muhammad was a prophet.
What does he mean by supernatural confirmation? You can tell this guy's very, kind of very,
To me, an internal
biased.
contradiction here for Muslims, because in Surah 568, which is a chapter in the Quran, the 68th verse, it says, "O ye people of the book." Who are the people of the book? The Christians and the Jews.
Right.
You have no ground to stand on unless you stand on the law and the Gospels. In other words, the Quran is telling Christians and Jews they ought to obey the Old Testament and the New Testament. The problem is, if you obey the Old Testament and the New Testament, it contradicts with the Quran. Because in Surah 4, verse 157, it says that Jesus never died. He was taken straight to heaven, so he couldn't have resurrected from the dead, because God would never kill a prophet according to the Quran. Now keep in mind, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was gathered after.
Okay, that's kind of a spoonful, but I don't know. He was talking about like the Christians and the Jews. There's like a contradiction between the statement that you Christians, like the Quran says to the Christians and the Jews that they should stand on their scriptures or something similar. I don't know. Is that a contradiction? I don't know. I think that the Quran says that the Christians and the Jews, they need to just follow like a lot of the laws are found in the Hebrew scriptures. Is that a contradiction? I don't know, because he's saying that this is like because how could but the Gospels say that Jesus was crucified? Because there is no contradiction if we're discussing like the Old Testament and the statement that the Quran made, like that the Jews should stand on the laws found in the Old Testament, the Tanakh, and the Hebrew scriptures. There's no, because the Hebrew scriptures, like, there's nothing to contradict. There's nothing in the Hebrew scriptures, I believe, that contradict. I mean, maybe there could be some things that are at odds. I don't know. I'm really not too sure with this. I don't know. Like this guy's what this type of arguments about. I don't know. Is that really a contradiction? Not the Quran is telling the Christians and the Jews that they should stand on their scriptures and be faithful and honest and stuff to their religions. Is that a contradiction? I don't know. Because I guess it's because he's trying to say that the Quran says that Jesus wasn't crucified, but the Gospels say that he was crucified. That's a contradiction. Is that? And Christians and the Jews, there's a lot of, like, I know there's different sects of Christianity, so I don't know. This type of argument is kind of very stupid to me. I don't know, because there's some groups of Christians. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just being an idiot. I don't know. Are there really groups of Christians that believe Jesus wasn't crucified? I don't know. Let me just. Christians who believe in Jesus wasn't okay, maybe I don't know. But I don't know, is this really a contradiction? I don't know. Because the Quran says, just be to the Christians and Jews, stand on your scriptures, be faithful and stuff and honest to your religions. Is that a contradiction? I guess he's trying to make it seem like, the Quran says Jesus wasn't crucified and the Gospels say he wasn't, so that's a contradiction. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a contradiction to me. The Quran's clearly telling the Christian people and the Jewish people, just be faithful and honest to your religions. In terms of like the historical, in terms of like history and stuff like that, the Quran says Jesus wasn't crucified, but the Gospel say he was, and so that's a contradiction. I don't know about that. It's not really a big. Oh no! Come on. My GoPro Hero 9 got too hot and it turned off again. It's such an annoying problem with these sorts of cameras. Anyway, I don't know, that's not really a big contradiction, but it's not really that important anyway. Let's kind of move on from that. Continue reacting and responding to the rest of this video.
He died, and it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650 AD. Okay?
I don't know. Oh, Muhammad didn't write the Quran. It was made up by someone else after he died. I don't know. You know, anything would. If we're looking at our like deep history, like stuff that happened all the way in our past, it's impossible to know like the fine details and what actually happened unless someone invents a time machine and we can go back and we can like properly see everything and see what's happening. I don't know. So I don't know. Muhammad didn't write the Quran. Someone else made it up. The Caliph Uthman made the Quran, not Muhammad. I don't know about that. If you're gonna be that philosophical and sort of autistic and speculative, you can say, "Oh, Muhammad wasn't even real. Muhammad wasn't a real person. He was just like a mythical character that was invented by the medieval Arabs." I don't know. So I don't know about that.
There's no miraculous confirmation that Muhammad was a prophet. So it's written 600 years after the events of Christianity. Why would we take a document written 600 years later to tell us what happened to Jesus when we have eyewitness testimony?
The Gospels are not eyewitness testimonies. We don't know who the Gospel authors actually are. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are pen names. The oldest manuscripts of the Gospels go to the 2nd century AD. Jesus was born between 6 BC and 4 BC. Yep, 6 BC, 4 BC. So there's like a couple centuries between the oldest manuscripts of the Gospels and Jesus' supposed life. We don't know who wrote the Gospels. We don't know who wrote any part of the Bible. So this type of argument, oh, the Quran came after the life of Jesus, so it's not reliable. Well, the Gospels, the oldest manuscripts of the Gospels come after the life of Jesus. So this type of argument kind of goes against Christianity, and it sort of invalidates Christianity as well.
Jesus. Right. So this is why I don't think Islam is the true world religion. Now, I'm not saying everything Islam teaches is false. That's not the case. I just think where it differs from Christianity, it's false. So that's the other great competitor to Christianity is Islam. Okay. Now, most Muslims would agree with the first 3 points: truth, God, miracles. Where they're going to have a problem with is the New Testament. So that's where Christians and Muslims separate.
Yeah, not only I don't know. I believe there's a couple other things that kind of separate Christians and Muslims. Truth, God, miracles. I don't know. Did he say that? Let me kind of jump back a little bit.
Now, I'm not saying everything Islam teaches is false. That's not the case. I just think where it differs from Christianity, it's false. So that's the other great competitor to Christianity is Islam. Okay. Now, most Muslims would agree with the first 3 points: truth, God, miracles.
I believe so. I think so.
So that's where Christians and Muslims separate.
There's a lot of other things that separate Christians and Muslims, but I don't know. That's about it. I don't wanna. Anyway, that's finished. My video is sort of finished. I don't know. I just want to kind of respond and react to it. Hopefully, my response video and my reaction video has been kind of enlightening to you as well. And that's about it. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy, this dorky Christian preacher guy. What's his name? Let me just show you his name.
And it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650 AD.
Can you elaborate?
Those are semester courses.
What's this guy? This dorky Christian guy.
He's like some kind of radio guy behind the glass going, shorten it up, shorten it up. All right, why don't we just deal with Islam first, okay? Look, there are 3
Dr. Frank Turek. That's his name if you want to kind of study more about his life and who he is and stuff, I don't know. And that's about it. Hopefully everything I've said in this video has been sort of enlightening, I don't know. That's about it.